Hi people. So today I thought that let's start with doing the practical stuff. But for practicality, again, you need two things. First, you need to have the R software installed. But again, like in Python, if you have just the Python IDE installed, it won't serve a good purpose, right? Because again, Python IDE you can just simply code. But if you have to see the code, if you have to document it in a proper way that you can present it to any client or present it to a customer, and you need to have a specific IDE or a specific, like you have Spider, you have IPython, and etc. So for R, so R is again like a simple console like you have for Python. But again, to see it in a very visual way, to visualize it and to see it in a very proper and sophisticated manner, you need a studio, which is called as RStudio. Let's see how you download that. So people have already downloaded RStudio and know a bit about R can skip the second half of the video where I'll show you one thing that many people don't know or have a very small brief idea about, which is called R Markdown files. And if you are an expert and you already know what an R Markdown file is, what it can do and what should do and how to do it, then you can entirely skip the video. So for those who are skipping the video, thanks for watching, but for others, stay tuned. So let me show you that how do you download it. Okay, let me show. So open any of your browser. So for me, I love Google Chrome, so I'll go for Google Chrome. Simply type down RStudio, download. Okay, click on the first link. For the people who want the link explicitly, I'll give the link in the description. You can check it in the description below. Okay, so let's go for the desktop version. So if you're working on desktop, you should go for desktop. If you want to have very priority support and you need to do it professionally, then you can always go for a pro. If you are installing it in a server, then you should go for a server version. And if you are going for a server pro or a commercial version, then obviously you should go for a server pro. So for now, since I'll be demonstrating a bit of brief about everything, so I'll go for a RStudio desktop version. So right now you can see the desktop version is 1.4.1106, and if you see what it requires is first you need to install R. Okay, so many people, obviously people will follow the first step, etc. But for the people who actually see the download button and click, so let's see what actually happens if I just click on the download button. Let's suppose it downloaded everything. So give it a few seconds. Okay. So since I've already had it downloaded previously, let me open that part. So see here it is already RStudio 1.4.1106. So if I open this, so you'll be able to see this. There's a normal setup that you do for any game or any software as such, right? So let's do it. Let's go for next, destination, folder, etc. If you want to change, you can change it. And if you want it in the start menu, give it here. If you don't want to create a shortcut, don't create a shortcut, etc. Install it, simple installation. The installation will take a few minutes, maybe a few seconds. So feel free to pause, skip this part. Okay, for people who are still interested in seeing that how it is getting installed, what all files, etc. are there, please stay tuned. So it won't take much time, I guess. Wow, it's speeding up. Hang on, guys. And we're done. See, we'll say that RStudio has been installed in your system. Okay, let's finish it off. Then let's go to our favorite RStudio. So for people who don't have the R installed, see, it will always give you an exception. It will always check if there is an R system installed. It will ask that if you have an R installed, it will use that. If you have 64-bit, if you have 32-bit, or if you want to specify a version, then obviously you have to give the location where your R is being stored. Okay, but since in my system I don't have any R installed, I'll go for the first one. Okay, but still it will say, see, R does not appear to be installed. Please install R before using the install. So it will say that you can download R. So this is a very interesting part. No other software, as far as I know, okay, I have a very limited knowledge, sorry for that. But as far as I know, no other software will tell you that, okay, you can go to their official website and download it. But this RStudio always will be a step ahead and will tell you that, okay, you can go to the official website and you can download it. So obviously I'll go to the official website. Let's go there. See, the rstudio.org. Okay, so this is an international program. So let's see 4.1.0. So this is a pre-release version, but let's see which is the most stable version that we have. So here there'll be something which will be called as the downloads option. Let's see. See, to download R. So you have to download R option. Okay, so if you come over here, you can do obviously the cloud, in which this cloud is basically, it will take from every software around the world and it has a potential to give you the best possible version of it. But to be on the safer side, there are a list of countries which support R. Okay, so these are the links where that R is being supported. And similarly, on the right hand side, the column that you see, let's say universe, okay, CSRIRO. This is in Australia. So this is an organization which actually works in R, which actually uh, say broadcasts or tells people about R, and they have a very good setup for R. Okay, so let's go for India. Since I'm from India, let's go for India. I hope India is there. Yep. See, okay, this is again NISER, which is for Indians who actually know this. This is a very good institute to actually work in. So let's go there. See, you already have, if you are in Windows, you go for Windows. If you are in Linux, if you are in Mac, so choose the whatever link you have. Since I'm using a Windows software, I'll go for the R with Windows. So here there are a list of things. Actually, if you see, so there's a base, there's a contrib, there's an old contrib and R tool. So if you want, you can go through the listings that are there. Okay. But since I'm a very beginner, what I'll do is I'll go for the base versions. Okay. So here you will see that you have R4.0.5, which actually India supports. Okay. So for people who are Indians and who want the latest version, you always come to this. This is a very handy website. Let's download it. Okay, since I already have it pre-downloaded, I won't download it again. I'll just simply go to the place where I had it downloaded. See, R4.0.5. Minus win is basically will tell you if it's a Windows or Linux. If it is Linux, it will be minus LIN. If it is for Mac OS, it will be minus MAC for Mac. Since I have Windows, I'll go for the Windows version. Okay. It's again a very simple installation. The installation will ask for the language that you want. There are hundreds of languages here. I am very fine with English. Let's go for English. I'll accept this same. And see, since I am for 64-bit, I don't unnecessarily want the 32-bit file, so I'll remove it. But rest of these two, the core files and the message translations are very important, because suppose you download a package which was developed in another country. Okay, so that country has its own language, and suppose it throws an error. How will you understand that language, right? You won't be able to understand the error it has thrown or what it requires, etc. That is why it gives a special thing which is called a message translation. Okay, let's go for next. And let's say we'll accept the defaults. I don't want to mess up things. Okay, so if you want whatever folder you want, I'll say I don't want to create a start menu. If you want, you can click it. Okay, I'll create a desktop shortcut and let's go. It will again extract the files. It will take a few seconds hardly. After this, the interesting part comes here actually. So now the question that many people's mind will arise is that, will RStudio be able to detect this R automatically? Let's see. Let's give it a few seconds. Let's give it a thought for a few seconds. Okay. In my personal opinion, it should detect, but let's see. Computers are very funny machines. Okay. So see, RStudio still not has detected because it is still open. So let's cancel it and let's open the RStudio again. This time it will open it because it is able to detect that 64-bit system that I have. See, R version, you can see here 4.0.5. This is the same version that we have. See, I will open in the background. See, R 4.0.5. Here you can actually see that what you want. Okay. Okay, now I told you in the beginning that I will have something for each and every one, which is called as the RMarkdown. Okay, let's first see what RMarkdown is. I'll have it somewhere over here. Yep. So if you come here in a new file, okay, you'll have, see, these are the types of files that you can create. Massive amounts of files. Okay. So let's go for the R Markdown that I was telling you about. So for R Markdown, there are a couple of libraries that you previously need to install. Okay. Hey, it did not open. Let's give it another try. It should open. Okay. One second. See, told you right. Creating R Markdown document requires updated versions of the following packages. In Python, obviously, there are packages here also. There are packages, and these are some of the names. Don't go over the names; they are very messy. Okay, let's install them. Installation will take again a few seconds. It will install like this. Once the installation comes up, then again we'll start. Yep. So my R Markdown has been successfully downloaded. Sorry. So R Markdown also gives you four separate types of things. Okay. One is the document type, in which the documents can be created in a very fashionable way. So you can either go for HTML or a PDF or a Word. So the output of this R code will directly, you can see it in either an HTML, which is a web page, essential web page, or a PDF or a Word. So if you want to give a presentation, or if you want to give a document for your professor or your client, etc., you can obviously do that in a PDF version, or you can do it in a Word. Okay, you can always give a presentation. So you have a presentation also. So you have PowerPoint here. Okay. Shiny is a document which I'll come later, because Shiny is a very good tool for different kinds of activities. Okay, I'll cover Shiny in a later video. It's a very interesting tool. Okay. So what I'll do is, for the time being, let's give a title, say test, and let me give my name here. Oh, let's give my name here. Okay, and then I'll select the PDF version. Then I'll click on OK. See, it will give always a predefined notion that, okay, this is what the file should look like, or this is what the file actually is supposed to look like. Okay, see, it will always have a header. Okay, we all know what headers are. So the header will contain these following information: the title, the author, the date, and what will be the output. Okay, so please don't mess around with this output. That is the chunk, that is the soul of this. Okay, so here if you see this R, what this will tell you is that this is basically telling you that this is an R file. Okay, see, R setup, and you don't need to include this. See, include is equal to false. Whatever it is, let's forget it. Again, so for headers, okay, let's suppose I see net. Okay, this net, what it will do is it will net it, and it will give me the output. So let me put it on the desktop. Let's see what it gives. So let's give me a test. Save it. Edit net. It will take a few seconds because nothing much is done here. Okay. Okay. So as I was trying to install this and run this or knit this, basically, I got a very bad error. Okay. So for that error, it asked me that you don't have Latex installed in your machine. So what do you want to do? You want to install a Latex and then knit it, or you want to make sure that R does that for you? So what I did was, since I'm working on R, I said, okay, let R do it. For that, I had to use this. Okay, TinyText, install TinyText. Okay, so this will actually help me in installing that Latex. So let's knit it right now. It will not give any issue. See, it knitted perfectly. And see, this is the output that I was telling you about. Okay, see, this R Markdown is, I think, a header, right? Let's go to the code. I'll show it simultaneously. This is the R Markdown. Before that, we had two asterisks. So this is a header. So it will say this is the R Markdown file, and you can give links also here. See, the links will again come here. You can click on this. See, it will give a link. Otherwise, nowhere else you can find the link except here. See, there's a link. Link is coming in the below section. Okay. And you can bold it. See, if you give a double star, it's a bold. See, you can, it will come as bold. Again, people will ask that where is the R code in this? See, here you are saying R car. See, car is basically the data set. Okay, we'll work through the data set in the next class, next sessions. Okay, so this R, if you give the R, so it will give you an R class. Okay, similarly, if you give any other thing which is compatible with R CMD or R command RMarkdown, then obviously you can give that over here in this R, in the section with R. And then the data set you can give as cars. So I've included that data set. Otherwise, you would have had to give a data, then cars, right? Like this, somewhat like the DATA, then a cars maybe. Then you would have installed the car. See, in this environment, see, there's a section called environment. See, it will tell you the cars. So cars is a data set. Again, we'll talk about this data set next. So what other things it can do is it can include plots for you. This plot is, so we have a pressure is again a data set, and echo is false. That means it will not, echo is false. That means it will not print it. Okay. So obviously what a plot does, it will plot you something. But since echo is false, see, it will not be plotted. See, echo is false. Okay. It will not, it will prevent printing of the R code. It was generated the plot. Okay. See. Echo is false parameter were added to the code chunk to prevent printing the R code that generated the plot. Let's do one thing. Let's remove that false part. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's an interesting thing that many people don't know. Let's remove this. Pressure we obviously need because that's a data set. Let me knit it again. See, output is the text.knit. Let the file open. Let's see what happens. No change. Surprised, right? But there are certain ways in which if you knit it in a different way, or if you knit it in a document or maybe in a latex format, in the base latex that you have, okay, then the R code that is getting, so let me open knit it again. I think that code that was there, right? This pressure, plot pressure, see, you'll be able to see this plot pressure, right? But in case I give this echo false, see very carefully. If I knit it again, see, that pressure plots is not there. It means the R code that was used to generate that plot, the plot will be there, but not that code. So suppose you don't want your code to be published, right? See, here the summary cars is there, but here the plot pressure is not there. So people might wonder, right, that how this plot came. That's a hidden information that you can keep. Otherwise, if you want to show it, then you can obviously show it. That's all up to you. That's all up to your choice of how much code sharing you want. Okay, since I didn't want to share the code, I left it like this. But suppose you want to share the code, suppose you want people to understand that, okay, these are the places where you have written the code, and this is the code that you have written, and how to improve on that. If you want to transmit that kind of information, and obviously you'll have to give that code. So that means that echo should be true here, or if you remove that part, then obviously echo is true. Okay, so this is the R markdown that I wanted to show you. And so here basically two data sets are there, right? One is the cars data set, right? And second is the pressure data set. So I'll leave it up to you to write in the comment section that what data set do you want to get analyzed. Okay, maybe the cars, maybe the pressure. So let's see what pressure actually has. Okay, I'm a bit, I don't know what it has. Let's see. Pressure will also have some data points, etc. Let's see what it has. So it again has a temperature and pressure. No clue what this is. No, nothing in there. I don't know, have any idea what it is. In the next session, we'll be able to find out that what this cars actually has, what this pressure actually means. Pressure is giving me two columns, right? A temperature and a pressure. What does it mean? How is it calculated? Is there any back calculation that's going on? Okay, that we'll all see. Similarly, in the car section. So in the car section, if you come over here, one is the speed and second is the distance. How is it getting calculated? What is the basic information that is provided using this data set? We have no clue by looking at the data. So that is what I meant when we started with data, is what does this data give you? Okay, it gives two columns, very good, speed and distance in case of cars. But how are they related? What if the speed increases, will the distance increase? If the speed reduces, will the distance decrease? So we don't have any definite information. We need that information. So that is the power of data. Data is just some points, but what do these points tell you about? We'll see this in the next video. Thanks a lot. But make sure in the next video, when you start this, make sure you have the R markdown or at least the R notebook. So you can open the R notebook files, then new file and the R notebook, or you can go for the R script as well. It's not much of a difference. Okay, but R notebook, I prefer R notebook because it's a valid document and you can show it to people it's a very good place for my liking. You can go for R script as well. It's not an issue. Okay. So the next video, I'll show you either the cars or the pressure as you would like it to analyze that a bit further. Okay. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.